Welcome back, and today we're going to go through as many different questions as we can to help out you guys that are going for your first teaching job, trying to become an early career teacher or an ECT. They've now got a 2-year transition period, and we're going to get in and trying to help you guys get that first teaching job. First question we're going to look at is quite a broad opening question that loads of interviews start with. Why do you want to be a teacher? For this one, guys, start off by giving some specific examples. Loads of teachers go in and just say, well, I always wanted to be a teacher, is what I've wanted to do it since I was a kid. Really kind of general statements. Go in straight away with some specific examples from placements you've done, sparks that kind of led you to wanting to become a teacher, something that happened that made you want to be a teacher, something very specific. It will make sure that you will stay in their memory first of all. If you've got a specific reason or a specific story of something that happened. For me, I still remember now, my year 3 teacher, he was just brilliant. He was so engaging, he was inspiring. He kept me in the loop, and I don't remember anything really from year 4, 5 and 6 because the teachers I had were nice enough, but they weren't that fantastic. But my year 3 teacher, Mr. Paul, if you're out there still watching this, he's the guy that made me want to be a teacher. He was so fun, he was so happy, he was so engaging, and ever since that moment I wanted to be like him basically. So Mr. Paul, if you're out there, thank you very much. Something like that, guys. A story, something where you can kind of show your passion, your enthusiasm for teaching. Get some specifics in there because that will really help you out in living in the memory and making sure they remember you when they come into the selection process. The next one is again quite a broad opening one, which is talking about their school. So something like, why do you want to work in our school? Why do you want to be a teacher here? That kind of thing. Make sure that again you're showing off the research you've done here, guys. You should have researched into the school, looked at the website, looked at their pages on there, their curriculum pages, their extracurricular pages, the classes, the teachers, any information you can find about the school. Pick out some things that show that school is appealing to you and use them in this bit. Don't again go for, well, it's just one on the list of ones I was applying for, kind of broad statements about why you want to be a teacher again. This is again them, you showing them that you've researched at school, that school is your plan A school, it's the one you want. It might be the case that it's not your first interview, and you can be honest about that, but there needs to be a reason about why I've applied to that school over some others. My teaching job that I've got, I've been in the same school since I was an NQT, as it was called back then, my first year. I think it was my 5th interview that I went for, but I still wanted that job. I still applied to that school for a reason, and I explained that in the interview at the time. Now, I will be honest, I can't remember what that reason was. However, it was something off the website, and it was a really engaging, the website was really nice, the staff were really nice. I talked about how I wanted to kind of help with the sports side of things and get outside playing football and football tournaments, that kind of thing. There were reasons that I went through from the website, and hopefully they stuck in the head's memory because she did end up giving me the job. Next up, we're going to put 2 questions into one here because they might often ask about either the experiences you've had before in schools, and then they'll follow on to that to talk about what challenges we faced while you've been in them. When you talk about the experiences that you've had, go through your placements, go through the schools you've worked out, be very specific about what you've done in those schools, because again, they don't want you to just know that you've worked in school. They want to know kind of the different areas you've worked, the different areas you've enjoyed working, the bits that you maybe didn't like so much and why that was, but be very specific about the bits you did enjoy that show that you had the passion for teaching. Again, you might want to be a year 3 teacher and explain this. Say how you wanted to be a year 3 teacher because you worked in year 3, you loved working with the children, got a really good understanding of the curriculum while you were teaching there, you really like this part or this part of it. Show off that experience that you had. Don't hide away from showing off the strengths you've got. And then when they talk about the challenges you faced, this could come in terms of workload, this could come in terms of being at university and teaching and maybe having another job as well and balancing all of that. This could be balancing home life balances, could be a tricky child in your class or managing behaviour. There's all sorts of challenges you can face as a teacher. And again, it's not about hiding away. It's not about saying, well, there were no challenges, I passed it all easily. Because every teacher faces challenges in the workplace. That is just something that you will have to come across and overcome, and they are more interested in the overcoming it. So it's not a bad thing to say you've had challenges, it's not a bad thing to admit that things have gone wrong, as long as you've got something to say, that went wrong, but I overcome it. So, you struggle with work-life balance, so you took these steps to improve it. You struggled with getting marking done, so you went to go and ask someone for help and you went through the marking process with them and then you got better at it. Show that progress you've made over time, because it's not about avoiding challenges. You're going to face them as a teacher 100%. It's about overcoming those challenges and beating them, being better than them, and making progress to the next step, to the next challenge that you're going to face. Another common question asked in interviews, especially near the start, is asking you guys about what are the qualities of a teacher. So what qualities are they looking for in a teacher that they want to work at their school? So here you've got to go through the things that you think teachers should be, and obviously link them back to you and of how you might show them. So first off, passion. You should be talking quite passionately anyway, because obviously you're excited, you're in a job interview, you're showing off how amazing you are. But passion for teaching and showing how teaching, teachers need that passion for their subject. It's not a job where you can go and sit and hide away in a corner and work 9 to 5 and go home. You need passion for it because you're going to be working long hours around what you should be working technically according to the contract, but you're going to have to be passionate about that and willing to do that and willing to do your best for the class. There's lots and lots of things you'll do that maybe the contract doesn't say you should do, but as a teacher it's just part of the job. So passion for teaching is huge. Next up, communication. You're going to be communicating with a massive team of people. You'll be working with TAs in your class, you'll be working alongside other teachers, you'll be working alongside other schools, alongside your head teacher, alongside all the children in the class too. That's a huge range of different communicative styles you're going to need, a huge range of different communications you're going to be doing every single day, and all these different people you're going to need to be talking to, managing these professional relationships and making sure that you are making the best progress for yourself as an ECT, becoming a qualified teacher, and for your children. They obviously need to be making progress too, and you can do that by having an effective relationship with them in the classroom. So communication is key. Third of all, speaking of the children, is part of being a teacher is you have to enjoy working with young people. Now, this is not something that everyone does enjoy, and I'm sure if you think back to your own school days, you will all know of a teacher that you felt like just did not enjoy the job, did not enjoy working around children. And you sit there and wonder why on earth to become a teacher, but everyone has a teacher in their past, in their memory, that was like that. So think about that and obviously say how you do enjoy the job. You enjoy working with children. Again, give some examples of where they made your day better, they brightened up your day, they've worked really hard. Just show off that actually you do enjoy the job. It's something that you need to have as a teacher. You must enjoy it, because if you don't, it's not a job you can do to your best extent. It's not a job that will get the children's best progress out if you're not enjoying yourself every day. So show off that you are looking forward to it, looking forward to working with the children and with the staff and with the team around you. Lots and lots of interviews will then move on and focus on some safeguarding questions, and they'll ask a range of questions about safeguarding because it's so important, and after all, the role of a teacher is generally to keep children safe. So if you are interested in those ones, I'll try and link a video up in one of the corners somewhere. Do go have a look. I've done a video specifically about safeguarding interview questions for teachers, so go have a look at those. I go into a bit more detail about those ones because they are so important, and as a teacher that is what you are there for. So go have a look at those, and we're going to keep going with the more general basic questions that they will ask. The next question is quite a key one that almost everyone will be asked depending on their interview. Most teaching interviews nowadays, if not all of them, have some kind of a lesson where you'll be teaching either a group of children or a class of children, and then you will go into your interview with the head and whoever else is in there afterwards. So one thing they will ask you to do is in some way to evaluate the lesson you've taught. Now this is really important because self-evaluation and making progress based on your own teaching and looking at your own teaching style is crucial as a teacher. So make sure that while you are teaching, you are not only just delivering the lesson, but you're going around looking at the children's work and seeing the progress they're making. You're making sure you're managing those kind of low level behaviours, making sure they're paying attention, looking at the board, sitting straight in their chairs, working to their best effort, their best extent, putting in all their effort they can. You're making sure that you're picking out some names of children who are either doing really well or maybe not doing really well, because it is important to show that progress. So first of all, make sure that you're aware the children are making great progress, and you can evaluate that and say, look, those children over there, maybe remember a few of their names or remember where they were sat in the classroom. You could see they'd listened carefully, they'd understood what they were asked to do, they'd got on with the task and worked really well. And big yourself up. If you did well in the interview, definitely big that up. But if you also happen to then double check and maybe you've spotted some children that aren't doing so well, you've gone over to them, done a little input with them, discussed what they're doing wrong and how to help them, make sure they're making that good progress in that lesson still, despite maybe not understanding or not listening to the first part. Again, show that you've done that. That's part of your teaching. As a teacher, children will not understand everything the first time you do it, maybe not the second time or third time, because you are going over things that they are learning for the first time. And as you or I know, it's hard to learn things. It's hard to understand everything. So show that you've noticed that, you've taken note of that bit where they've not quite understood something, and you're then going back over it. You're going to help them. You're going to show that they're still making that progress through your own teaching. This isn't something that they've done on their own. You've helped them and you've got them there. Self-evaluation, really, really important. And if you can show that you're understanding that Yes, some of them are making great progress, some of them are not, and you know how to help them get there and get to that great progress, then again, you're hitting both sides. The final question we're going to go through today is also one of the most important questions and one of the ones I really enjoy looking at even now, and that is asking about what are the current issues about education. Now, if you're watching this when this is released, which is early 2022, then you'll know one of the massive ones is obviously we've been through a few lockdowns now. There's been children out of school a lot due to lockdowns or from COVID and isolation. And one of the big issues in education is about helping those children catch up to where they used to be. Now, this is something that's massive across all schools across the country, and we are working so hard in schools to make sure children are catching up that lost learning. But it is a massive issue on the best way of doing it, and there's been various different things talked about, like longer school days, about working shorter holidays, about catch-up curriculums, and it's a really big issue that people don't really know the full extent of yet. They don't know just how tough it's going to be yet, but they're working really hard to make sure that's not something that is going to impact these children's futures, and when they come to finish primary school or finish secondary school, that impacts them then. Another massive one at the minute is using technology in schools. Now, due to COVID, schools have had to completely change the way they taught when we were doing online learning, and that meant loads of new technologies brought into classrooms all at the same time. Now, this is something that I think has been really beneficial. And again, at my school, we've introduced loads of new ways of learning in classrooms that we never used before COVID. But it's also been a really tough journey sometimes, making sure that all these new technologies are working and they're useful and they're being used in the right way in schools. So that's something where, you know, schools are constantly adapting, constantly changing, and that has kind of put the fast forward on it. And there's some really good, cool, exciting new technology being brought into the classroom. So have a look at some of them and talk about what you could want to do in the future and how you might want to use those technologies as they come through into schools. I really hope this has been helpful to you guys. And as always, there's new videos every week, Tuesday, Friday and Sunday. So do keep watching, do keep liking and subscribing, because thank you very much. It does help. Comment if you've got any questions or if you just want to say hi. And I do try and reply to all the comments that I get. So thank you very much for those, and I'll see you very soon.